Okay, today we're going to learn a foolproof method for creating a third-person open-world video game in only 3 steps. Step 1. You need a character.
Yeah!
Step 2. You need a camera that follows the character. Step 3. You need a scene, and if you want an open world, you need a big scene. And that's it. Next week, we'll see how to launch a rocket ship in only 2 steps. See you guys! Oh, and if you had doubts about my artistic skills, I think we're fixed now. Hey people, it's Swan. Welcome to this first devlog, in which we will discover and use the first 2 assets of the game. The idea is to set up the pirate demo scene created by Synty Studios and to create a first playable character with the Invector third-person template. So, just to give a little bit of context, everything you're going to see in this video, I didn't do it. In fact, I found amazing assets on what's called the Unity Asset Store. Basically, it's people who have made 3D models or written C# code and we decided to put them on this Unity Asset Store for free or not. And so I download 2 assets that we are going to see right now and that allow me to have a playable game without having code or modeled anything. The first asset is Synty Studios Polygon Pirate Pack, which contains a lot of 3D models of environments, plants, buildings, objects, characters, weapons, ships, etc. In total, there are 477 different 3D models with 4 different textures each. A little anecdote, Synty Studios received for this pack the award of the best artistic content on the Unity Asset Store in 2017, and it's clearly deserved. The second asset I use is Invector third-person shooter template, which in fact combines 3 assets created by Invector. The first one is for basic movements, the second one is for melee combat, and the third one is for weapons combat. Invector assets are quite well known by the game developers community, especially independent developers. They are usually recognizable by that black and orange character, but the real power of Invector is all those settings you see in the grey boxes. And behind these grey boxes, we have incredible scripts. So there are a bunch of them. Here we have the basic ones that come with the Invector asset I use, and each of these scripts are more or less long, but they're pretty big each time. Honestly, when I first started using this asset, I was unable to read these scripts and to understand how they've been coded. Little by little, I'm slowly breaking them down and I'm starting to add personal scripts on top of them or to make little changes, but really it's a huge asset. Clearly, if I had added this asset from the beginning, I don't know where the game would be now, maybe not far. So, Invector allows you to create a playable character very easily. It's directly integrated in the Unity toolbar. You just have to find the character model you want to use, and that's it, you have a playable character. We just have to put it on our little island, and there it is! Yeah! Great! It works! Except the fact that it completely crosses the ground, which is a little bit problematic, but it's totally logical. In fact, Unity is very powerful but a bit naive, so you have to take it by the hand, and if you don't want your character to pass through something, typically the ground or most of objects, you have to tell it, and for that we use colliders. In the same way, if you want an object to move, to have a mass or to be affected by gravity, like this tool, you have to tell it, and for that we use rigid bodies. So you have to put one on each object, it's a bit long, but at the end the scene is coherent. Okay, so here we are in the game about 3 months after the images you just saw. I didn't show everything, but this is the character I use to test everything in the game. And now we're going to see the different Invector components it uses. So the first one is third-person controller, which is the most important one because it manages life, the way you move, energy, ground detection, different events the character can encounter, the way you jump, the way you roll, etc. So most of the basics are here, so it's super important. Shooter melee input is what allows you to define how the player interacts with the game, with the keyboard, with the mouse, with the controller, etc. This is what we call input, and of course it's super important. Melee Manager is all about melee weapons, right-handed weapons, left-handed weapons, and each weapon has its own characteristics, attack, defense, energy consumptions, and so on. The same things with firearms, with even more settings like the kind of ammunition that is used, the way you reload, the recoil of the weapon, the way you aim, the camera changes when you are aiming, and so on. This component also manages the way the character puts its hand on the weapons, so yeah, very complete. Ammo manager is simply the management of the different ammunition, because of course all weapons don't use the same kind of ammunition, different bullet size, grenades, arrows, etc. Generic action is here to simplify the interactions between the character and the game. For example, when you are in front of a chest and press E to open it, or when you press a button to pick up a weapon on the ground or to get into a vehicle, all these things can be managed with generic actions. Ragdoll system, this one is cool. It gives a collider on each member of the character body, so let's imagine that the character suffers the blast of an explosion, while the body will not dislocate in an incoherent way. Ragdoll system is also what allows you to give more damage when you hit an enemy in the head instead of the ankle. Item manager is an inventory system. It's a big topic, but I don't really like how this inventory works. I'll probably have to make my own one. We'll probably see that in a dedicated devlog. Footstep is what makes little sounds mark on the ground and the little smoke clouds you can see when the character moves. So here the sound is incoherent. It's a default sound, but the idea that depending on the material the character is moving on, whether it's sand, wood, metal, grass or water, we'll be able to put different sounds and different particles to give some realism to the scene. Draw high shooter melee weapons, that's what allows you to take a weapon in your hand and put it on your back, on your side, wherever you want to put it. Hit damage particle is simply to spray some blood when your character gets hit. Ladder action is obviously for ladders, which is a little bit tricky thing to do. And finally, head track. I really like this one. As you can see, the character head is following the movement of the camera. So when you look at the side, the character also turns his head and up to a certain angle he stops. So it's just a little detail, but it gives a lot of realism to the gameplay. I really appreciate that component. So voila, we have covered most of the Invector components I'm currently using on my character, but there are much more Invector scripts and not only on the character. For example, when we look at the main camera, there are Invector scripts here with the different states of the camera. So this is the default view, but when I crouch, you can see that the camera perspective changes a little bit. In the same way, when we are navigating or aiming, the camera settings will change, and that changes will be managed by Invector scripts. So in fact, on all the objects that can interact with the player, most of the time we have Invector elements. For the moment, I haven't taken the time to go in depth into the different Invector settings. I'm fine with the current result, which is enough for me to test and work on the game, but the idea is that I can specify the way all these elements work and thus make a game that really corresponds to the experience I want to give to the players. Well, I think that's quite a lot for a first devlog, so what can I say? Concretely, I didn't create any artistic elements, Synty Studios did all of them, and I didn't code any C# line because Invector did it for me. I just combined the assets together and I did some configuration, and already there's enough to have a playable game with a lot of features, a lot of fun, so that's so cool, so much satisfaction. Okay guys, if you like this video, please consider giving a thumb up and leaving a comment. It really helps the channel and will increase the visibility of this video so that other people can discover it. If you want to see future videos, you can of course subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you want to see more, there is a link to the Discord in the description. Please don't hesitate to give feedback because this is the first devlog in which I talk about the game in a concrete way, so there are many things to improve. Any feedback is a gift. Okay, see you in the next devlog. Thanks for watching. Tschüss.